Oh yeah, we are live at Wasupwu Productions Fourth Candidates Forum. I'm Gil Rebler. I'll be opening this up before sending it over to the moderators. Tonight we have Sylvia Marroquin, Diana Garcia Reese, Katie Burnworth, and Lucy Hendry, and Maribel Puentes of Sun Valley Research who will be doing a brief intro. As I've said, I'm Gil Rebler, not Daniel Ochoa Jr. No, I'm just kidding. But it's going to be a fun night. The moderators are Rosa Diaz of the Ivy LGBT Center and Juanita Rebler of Brownie's Diner and Town Pump. And if you got a problem with any of them, we can talk about it because that's my mom over there. And I won't stand for that. No, but anyways, I've talked way too much and I'm going to just send it over to Maribel for a brief intro. Enjoy.
And it's a pleasure to be here today. I want to thank everyone for joining us on the Facebook Live. And then this is the fourth meet of the candidates. And I'm your host of this event for today, Maribel Puentes. And I will tell you a little bit about me. I work at Sun Valley Research Center, and I'm the Community Outreach Marketing Representative. It is an honor to be here today. And I want to tell you that we are taking all the COVID-19 safety guidelines. We're all spread out everywhere here, so we're not too close. And I want to thank also the Barbara Worth for hosting us for this event. And thank you, Gil Rebollar, for assisting us and supporting us in our technical, in the behind the scenes, okay? I also want to thank What's Up Molina Productions and the family for putting this event together, yay! And of course, don't forget Helena Nena to vote for her. And let's get started. And we have two moderators, Rosa Diaz, she's a CEO, founder of LGBT, and Juanita Rebollar, she's a business owner of Brownies and Brawley in the Town Pump in Westmoreland. So let's get started.
My name is Rosa Diaz, the founder and CEO of the Impro Valley LGBT Research Center. And I just want to say that I'm really glad to be a part of this event, which is being put up by What's Up Productions. And today I just want to let you know that the LGBT Research Center is only about going on 6 years. And since then we've been providing counseling services, HIV testing, as well as support services for the LGBTQ community. And we did open up for that reason, but we also help people who are in need. It doesn't matter who you are. If you come through our door and you have a need, we are there to help, give you the resources, give you the services that we offer. And I just want to invite you to our 5th annual Impro Valley Pride, which is going to happen in October 5th through the 10th. We're going to be celebrating events, just bringing once again awareness to the fact that LGBTQ people live in Impro County, and that we, as you know, are here for a better life. So if you want more information on the upcoming Pride events, go to iblgbtcenter.com/pride, and you'll find the information there.
Hello, my name's Juanita Reblar. Owner of Brownie's Diner and the original Town Pump in Westmoreland. Thank you, Juan and my tocayo, and Nena for having me be a moderator and helping you. I never sought a political seat. I almost did this year, but at 53 years old, I'm back in school and decided I couldn't commit myself 100% like I would like to. But seeing these amazing women is inspiring to see everybody. When I look at all the political papers and posts and all the advertisements, it's great to see all the women that are running this year. Very inspiring. And
I just want to say that talking about women in politics and why it is important for women to run, I think it was in the late 20s, early 30s when I really noticed politicians in the Impro Valley. My mother was a restaurant owner, and I remember that she was going to do a fundraiser for somebody by the name of Stella Mendoza. And I didn't know Stella very well, but I do remember that my mom was excited to do this luncheon for her. And I found out later that she was running for city council. And then later she became mayor. And as I was noticing how Stella was into politics, having her as a mayor at that time gave her the opportunity to honor other women in business. And when I saw how Stella honored women in business, my mother being one of them, I thought, oh my goodness, I understand the importance of having women in politics, because they can see and understand the struggle of other women, especially of women who run a business, who have a leadership position. And later on, I heard she ran for IID and she won that seat. So that was my first experience meeting a woman who was running for office. And I just want to say that there's one thing I did notice back then, and that was that women in politics didn't seem to have too many friends. And I just want to say that we've come a long ways, because as women, we support, and we need to support one another. So now we're going to be introducing our candidates. Go ahead.
Yes. This year marked 100 years that when women were given the power to vote. Now, as you can see, our power is to be voted in. Look at all these inspiring, fierce women that care about their community and are striving to make a difference. In the last decade or so, women have been shattering the glass ceiling more and more, but we are not completely there yet. When we finally see a female president, then we'll seriously think about it. These women here are great role models for our daughters in reminding them that they can sit at the table with anyone, and for our sons to respect those women sitting at the table with them. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. And our first candidate that we will ask a question to is Katie Burnsworth.
Good evening. My name is Katie Burnworth, and I'm a first-time candidate for Imperial City Council. I'm a project coordinator, planning commissioner, business partner, and fifth generation in my family to call Imperial home. But before any of these titles, I'm a mom of 2 small kids. They're my biggest inspiration for everything in life, so of course they play a huge role in why I'm running for city council. As a mother of 2, I don't enjoy having my children play on playground equipment in a dried out retention basin that's classified as a park. I'm working on ensuring that this is no longer a model for parks in Imperial. Another reason is my late husband and I had morals and values that we wanted to instill in our children, and serving our communities was one of them. I'm a firm believer that you lead by example. I want to show my kids that you need to give back to the communities that you live in. You need to do the selfless work for the greater good of all. Imperial has grown by a factor of 5 since I was born, and I want to lead our city as we grow to maintain our small town roots, where our community is also our family. Thank you, Wasupwu Productions, for putting on this forum tonight, and I'm honored to sit next to all these women on this forum.
Great. And now we are going to introduce Lucy Hendry, who is running for Imperial County Office of Education.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lucy Hendry, and I am running for a seat on the board of the Imperial County Office of Education, Area 5, which represents the wonderful communities of Heber and Hopeville. I have both attended and worked my entire life in our local schools, and I'm a proud lifelong member of our caring community. I have recently retired after 37 years of service with the Central Union High School District, and I now have the time and the interest to serve my community. Thank you.
Our next candidate to introduce themselves will be Diana Garcia Reese.
Good evening. My name is Diana Garcia Ruiz. I'm running for the Central Union High School District Board of Directors. It currently represents the city of Heber, Sealy, and El Centro. I've been a Heber resident all my life. I'm the first Heber resident from any of the feeding school districts that is represented at the Central Union High School District. I was elected to the Heber Elementary School Board and the Heber Public Utility District in 1996, where I served for over 20 years until I was required to leave those positions to be able to serve my newly elected position at the Central Union High School District. I was elected to the Central Union High School District in 2016 and have served for the past 4 years. I am also on the Imperial Valley's representative to the California School Board Association Delegate Assembly. I have been in that position for 12 years, first with Heber School, and then, as I like to say, I was graduated to the high school board. I am the co-founder of Proyecto Heber, a 501c3 nonprofit that was created to help give our community of Heber a new reputation. We also wanted to help our residents, but I am very proud to say that we have been able to expand and currently help all over the Imperial Valley. I am a board member with the Brownback Coalition, which advocates and feeds the homeless in Calexico and in surrounding areas. Proyecto Heber also helps feed the homeless. I am active in my local Heber church, helped pass Measure G for our Heber gym, have been active organizer for Heber's official fall fiesta, which celebrates the Heber Public Utility Districts and the town of Heber's anniversary. In conjunction with Proyecto Heber, we also hold an annual car show, which brings together about 2,000 people to Heber from all around. I was also very active in bringing sidewalk curbs and gutters to our town. I have advocated for a new community center, for better streets, better parks, and better all-around infrastructure in my town. The one thing that I would like to emphasize is that I advocate for all citizens and all students all the time. Thank you.
Okay, the last candidate to introduce himself is Sylvia Marroquin.
Good evening. My name is Sylvia Marroquin. I am a candidate for El Centro City Council. El Centro is my home. I was born and raised there. I attended all local schools, and I'm proud to say that I even completed my higher education in the Imperial County. So, and El Centro being the hub of that, it's just like I'm proud of that. I am a business professional. I worked in banking for many years. And part of my background also is in serving the business community as a small business advisor. So one of the things that, and the reason why I'm running for a seat in the El Centro City Council is because I care about my community. I've learned, quite a bit as I've worked throughout the years in the business community, and it's important to me to now give back to my community and contribute by making important decisions that will hopefully improve the quality of the life in El Centro. As a resident, I'm involved in my community and especially in my church community. I am as a volunteer, I operate and I manage the gift stores at both parishes of the Catholic community in El Centro. It's just like, I guess I practice what I preach, because as a business advisor, I would help people establish businesses, and now I am operating 2 small businesses on my own. And so I am past president and board member of the Optimist Club of El Centro. And I'd also like to go into a little bit as to why I'm running, because, as you all know, and, we're facing unprecedented times that call for a strong understanding of current conditions and how they affect our community. I know there is much work to be done, and I believe that I can contribute to positive decision making. If elected to serve on the City Council, I commit to the following: care for the health of our community by maintaining a strong hospital system, because as you know, the city owns the hospital. I commit to mitigating economic fallout due to COVID-19 by assisting small businesses with recovery and/or growth efforts. And, because that is one of my passions and is assisting small business owners. I am prepared to alleviate homelessness by working with local resource agencies because, as you know, all cities, not only in the Imperial County, but throughout the nation, face a lot of issues with the homeless population, and it's important that we help them and address those issues by finding resources to assist them. So as a lifelong resident of El Centro, I am committed to the effort that it will require to get our city through this pandemic and into prosperity. So I thank you for attending this event this evening, and thank you to Wasupwu Productions for hosting and giving us the opportunity to present ourselves to you, and hopefully this will help you make a choice as to who you will be voting for this coming November the 3rd. Thank you very much.
Very good. Now, at this time, we are going to be asking some questions to our candidates. And we're going to start off with a question, the first one to all the candidates. So, Ms. Katie Burnworth, if you could please answer this question. Please state your name, the position you're running for, your involvement in civic matters, and how you plan to bring change to the community if you are elected.
Again, my name is Katie Burnworth, and I'm running for Imperial City Council. My involvement in civic matters spans all across Imperial County, from the binational border between the United States and Mexico to the border of Riverside and Imperial counties at the Salton Sea. I have worked on Assembly Bill 617, which brings air quality improvement projects to the communities of Calexico, El Centro, and Heber. I am a founding board member of the Abigail Ray West Scholarship Foundation that gives scholarships to Imperial High School graduating seniors. I am proud to say that we have done this for 14 years now and have given over $15,000 worth of scholarships. I have also prior served on the Imperial Valley BMX Board of Directors, which is a nonprofit organization that runs the BMX racing facility in Sealy. That board was actually the first one that I had the honor to serve on, and it gave me such a great feeling to actually give back and see joy on the kids' faces, which I was a little kid at the BMX track. So on that one, I actually got to do full circle. I will bring a new perspective on what the needs of our residents are. I will bring ideas of how to solve old problems within the city with new ideas. I have experience in both the private sector and working for public agencies. This gives me a better perspective on what both sides face and challenges to get their job done. I would like for Imperial to promote a business-friendly environment that concentrates on helping our small businesses find the easiest way through the permitting and other regulatory processes, which can be frustrating for all of us. The community needs to take the lead as cities. The businesses community will need to take the lead as our city moves into the future and getting through this pandemic. None of us know what our city will look like next year. COVID-19 has thrown us all for a loop, but I know if we all work together and we look and we can be adaptive and have fresh ideas to this fresh new time, we can get into our new normal and we can all be successful.
Same question to Ms. Lucy Henry. Please state your name, the position you're running for, your involvement in civic matters, and how you plan to bring change to the community if you are elected.
Hello, everybody again. My name is Lucy Hendry, and I am running for a seat on the board of the Imperial County Office of Education, Area 5, representing the communities of Heber and Hopewell. My civic involvement consists of the following. Currently, I am Vice Chair of the Hopewell Unified School District Citizens Bond Oversight Committee for Measure G. This is a $10 million general obligation bond that was voted back in 2018, and it provides funding for various improvement projects, new construction of a gym and NPR facility at the middle school, continued improvements to the high school in the cafeteria, the NPR, and student services buildings. Also planned improvements for classrooms and offices at Finley Elementary School. I'm an active member of the Hopeville Women's Club, which is a nonprofit organization that supports Imperial County through major contributions and donations. They provide advanced education scholarships, nursing scholarship, as well as high school scholarships. They provide services to the Betty Jo McNeese Home, support Yellow Ribbon Clubs throughout the county, support the Humane Society, as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Hopeville, among a few. I am also currently a volunteer through Catholic Charities for the Emergency Food Assistant Program. I participate as a volunteer in monthly food bagging and distribution events. And if I might add, this program is so very effectively and caringly managed by the people that volunteer, and it's always in need of volunteers. It's a very worthwhile cause, and if you are interested in volunteering anytime, give me a call. I was recognized as a distinguished volunteer on National Philanthropy Day for my work with the El Centro Education Foundation. I served as secretary to the Classified School Employees, Chapter 726, for well over 10 years. I served on the Cancer Center of the Desert Lily Sales campaigns for many years. Our family has actively also supported many youth organizations, such as volunteering as officers, coaches, scorekeepers for Little League teams, swim teams, local high schools, as well as local 4-H groups. If elected, when elected, I will continue to support the goals established by Imperial County Office of Education of supporting strong families and students who are prepared for life, college, and career. As a candidate for the Board of Education, resources to be an effective and compassionate leader. Thank you.
Question to our next candidate, Diana Garcia Reese. Please state your name, the position you are running for, your involvement in civic matters, and how you plan to bring change to the community if you are elected.
My name is Diana Garcia Ruiz, and I am a candidate for the Central Union High School District. I have been in a school board position for the last 24 years. 20 years at the Heber School District, and now 4 years at the Central Union High School District. Everybody that runs for this position thinks that it is the same. It is not. At Heber School, we were preparing kids for high school. At the Central Union High School District, it became very clear that we were preparing the kids for life in general. Not just college, not all kids go to college, just life. I have been through recessions, furloughs, budget cuts, extra monies, and of course now this pandemic. In all of these situations, the one thing that has gotten me through any crisis or any joy has been that I am first and foremost a parent. I will always think like a parent. I will always fight like a parent of all our kids. I grew up in Heber. We didn't even have science classes. When I got to high school, I didn't even know what a beaker was. So when my kids started growing up, I knew that they wanted them to grow up in Heber. So I thought, I'm going to give them the best education that I can get here. I'm not gonna interdistrict my kids. I'm not gonna drive them all around the Imperial Valley looking for a school. I am going to make Heber School the best school that it can be. I will not say that I did it alone. I will never take the credit for what everybody worked for. But Heber is now a nationally recognized school. So I wanted to take a little bit of that to Central. Why? Because I saw more and more of our kids. Backtrack a little bit. I also was the postmaster of Sealy for 20 years. So I saw those kids going to Central also. So I saw those kids kind of floundering, kind of, not getting the best response. Some of our kids did not have buses to bring them back if they wanted to stay for tutoring. Some of our kids did not have access to the internet, did not have access to the best textbooks, because maybe they just didn't know how to get it. So I thought, as a parent, I'm gonna take this on. And that's what I did. I went to Central and I made sure that they were following the standards for math, that they were giving these to the feeder schools to bring back our math scores. I had seen where algebra academies and extra efforts and extra tutoring for math was gonna bring those scores up. I fought for extra buses to go to the Posada del Sol, because if you wanna inspire a child to come to school, guess what? Pick them up in 120-degree weather and pick them up in 45-degree rain. And that was something that we did not have. The Posada del Sol kids were being not neglected, but forgotten in a way. All the kids that came from Dogwood Road up on the east side, they didn't have a bus. I needed to do that. Desert Oasis School, the kids had lunch out in the sun. That to me was just awful. So I worked with the community, I worked with the administration to get these things. Like I said, the main reason that I ever ran for office was that as a parent, I wanted to give my own kids the best education. I believe that all kids deserve the same great education. So this is a promise from me to you. I will fight to give all the kids the same opportunities and the same education. Our kids deserve that and more. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Sylvia Marroquin. Same question, please state your name, the position you are running for, your involvement in civic matters, and how you plan to bring change to the community if you are elected.
Hello, good evening once again. My name is Sylvia Marroquin. I am running for a seat on the El Centro City Council. You know, I was just sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, my list of involvement in my community is not as long as these other ladies, so I'm really impressed. But, you know, I do have to say that I've dedicated much time to my church community. And, you know, what made me think about running for office was if I could dedicate that much time to my church community, there's no reason why I couldn't do it for my entire community. So that is the reason why I am here this evening. Now, my background stems from, you know, finances. I worked in banking for more than 25 years. I also worked with the Small Business Development Center for 5 years. Now, that also opened my eyes to the need for people with experience in economic development and how it affects our community. And as we all know, that COVID-19 has really made an impact, not just on our personal lives, but also on the business community and our health system. So those are factors, you know, that I really strongly take into consideration as my reasons, you know, for running. I have been involved with the Optimist Club of El Centro for over 15 years. You know, unfortunately, you know, these types of service clubs have slowly become a thing of the past. And this year we had to disband our club. It really hurt us to do that, but we just lost the interest. And but throughout the years that I was active there, I helped with many fundraisers that the Optimist Club held. And most recently, you know, really bearing the 110 to 150 degree heat and sitting out and selling fireworks each summer for the last 4 or 5 years. So that's that was an experience. You know, I also, as I had mentioned before, I operate and manage the gift stores at our local parishes, our local Catholic community parishes. And, you know, running a business is not easy. And I can attest to that. I have a full-time job as a business manager of a local private school. And I continue my work by running and operating these stores. That means that I have to then, you know, stock all the merchandise, order it, you know, inventory it, and so on. So that's my other job. So, you know, this is not something that, even though my list of involvement in the community is not as long as these other ladies, but really, this really takes a lot. And I know that other business owners can attest to that. I also serve on the pastoral council of my local Catholic parish. And I participate in so many fundraising events of our parishes, you know, that I can't even begin to count, you know, how many I have, how many committees and boards that I have sat on for that one reason, because it's really important that, you know, aside from the school that I work for, you know, trying to bring in, you know, funds to just stay healthy and maintain and be able to pay our bills is very difficult. So, so I'm proud to say that I've participated in those things and helped to raise money for those causes. So if I'm elected for a seat on the city council, you know, I had mentioned before that, you know, I'm concerned about the well-being of our local community hospital. And in speaking to the CEO of the hospital, I learned, you know, that, you know, the hospital has faced, you know, many challenges and also is facing many financial challenges. And even though they've received funding from the federal government, you know, it still is not going to prevent them from facing deficits in the future within the next, you know, 3 to 5 years. So, you know, that is something that we need to, that is of great importance, because we need to make sure that we maintain the hospital system, because we need to care for the community here in El Centro. You know, the as a city council member, then I would, you know, surely try to work with the CEO at the hospital to make sure that the deficits can be kept to a minimum. Okay, so, you know, as I had mentioned before, I would like to work with local resource agencies to alleviate the homelessness, because, you know, I've seen, you know, many cases and around town encampments that have grown around town of people that are displaced. So it's really important that we help those and work with our local resource partners to alleviate that issue in El Centro. So those are some of the reasons why I'm running, and I would like to, you know, further on, and in the evening, I'll just give you a little bit more about my background. Thank you.
This next question is for all the candidates, and we'd like for you to very passionately tell us a little bit about your knowledge, your experience, the qualifications, and what makes you the best candidate for this position. We're going to start with Katie Bernworth.
So I grew up in Imperial, and I graduated from Imperial High School. I have a bachelor's degree in biological sciences, and I'm currently pursuing a master's in environmental project management. So by trade, I'm a scientist, so I have the tendency to look at solving problems a little bit different than most. It goes back to the basics of what I was taught in 5th grade science class, which is a scientific method, where you start with the problem, you make a hypothesis, you look at the data, and then you make a decision. So doing this gives me the ability to look at all sides of the issues before making a decision. I make thoughtful decisions that have the community's best interest in mind. I've also spent my whole career working on public health issues in Imperial County, most of it being the environmental disaster at the Salton Sea, which has more bureaucratic and political barriers than almost any other issue in our region. However, through hard work and perseverance, I have a smarter understanding how to break through those barriers, but more importantly, explain the issues to our community. Explain those issues to our community. Our community members usually don't understand the technical talk that we have with, the political talks and getting through the process. They don't understand that. So being able to speak to them and to explain these things in a simpler way that they can understand and be relatable, something that they can look at it from. The most effective way to find out what the needs of the community is to go straight to the residents and ask them. And I have embedded myself within the city of Imperial. I'm a business partner there, and a lot of our customers are from Imperial as well. I've learned to solve problems from the perspective of, how do I make this easier for other members of the community? And I'll bring that to the residents of Imperial. I have the understanding that there is no easy fix to anything, including the issues I plan to work on with Imperial, because if there were, then I'm confident that our current and past council members would have done it by now. I also sit on the City of Imperial's Planning Commission, and I've seen the controversies and issues that the city faces while trying to bring in economic development and growth to our town. I've also seen the trials and tribulations of fixing our current infrastructure. I plan on bringing a new perspective and a new way of ideas for our city, and learning off the knowledge of our existing council members who have been there for a long time. I plan on, bringing a better business mindset. I grew up with my parents were small business owners, and hard work and working with your city is one of the most important things that you can do. That's, yeah.
Right. Lucy Henry, describe the knowledge, experience, and qualifications which make you the best candidate for this position.
Well, I feel that my vast experience working in public education, 37 years at Central Union High School as an executive assistant to the superintendent's office, has allowed me to obtain extensive knowledge in all areas of school district policies, state and federal laws and regulations, and also managing of public meetings. Over the years, I have attended numerous training workshops through educational organizations such as California School Boards Association and the Association of California School Administrators. I have served on school site councils and in leadership positions in various committees and organizations. But most importantly, my life work has provided me with learning experiences in just about every situation imaginable relating to public school issues. Thank you.
Deanna has answered the question for us already in her first statement. So we'll go on to Sylvia Marroquin. Please describe the knowledge, experience, and qualifications which make you the best candidate for the position.
I am a business professional with more than 25 years of experience as a banking executive, 5 years of experience as a certified business advisor for small business owners, and 4 years of experience as a business manager for a local private school. Through these positions, I have been responsible for the development and oversight of mission-driven programs, annual budgets, human resources, bookkeeping, accounts payable, and maintenance of facilities. I believe the work experience I have gained throughout my career, coupled with my Master of Business Administration degree, have prepared me to lead the City of El Centro through the challenging times and issues that we face. Thank you.
Now we're going to go on to our next question. This one is for Ms. Lucy Henry. Every student needs adequate access to instructional resources in order to achieve academically, especially now during this pandemic. Students who do not have access to computers and the internet will be further behind than their peers who do. What can be done about underprivileged students currently not getting the proper education because of the lack of internet at homes?
Well, these are unprecedented times we are experiencing, and the disruption that the coronavirus is having on our educational system is huge and partly unknown. I believe schools play a critical role in meeting the basic needs of struggling students by providing meals, transportation, technology, equipment, and other vital services. There should be no excuse for all homes not having internet services, whether it's services provided by the school districts or local internet services providers. It is important that schools reach out and identify these homes so they can facilitate connectivity and continue to communicate with them to educate families on the resources available to them. I also strongly believe that Congress should continue to provide additional resources and funding to support schools as well as all educators. Thank you.
Thank you. Deanna, I will ask you the same question. Every student needs adequate access to instructional resources in order to achieve academically, especially now during this pandemic. Students who do not have access to computers and the internet will be further behind than peers who do. What can be done about underprivileged students currently not getting the proper education because of the lack of internet at home?
It's all about equity of access for all students. All kids deserve the best that we can provide. Central Union High School District was one of the first to achieve this with BorderLink access. BorderLink access uses community Wi-Fi, and the students can check out the little Wi-Fi's to take home. Central Union High School, Brawley Union High School, Heber School, Sealy School, and West Warren were one of the first ones to do it because of their such a high rate of achieving and under low-income kids. At Central Union High School District, we have handed out about 2,500 Chromebooks and over 200 MiFi devices. So I know that we are truly trying to do the best for our students. We have just acquired a bus that also has Wi-Fi connections. That way the bus will be traveling to outer lane communities to make sure that the kids can do their homework, not just with the Wi-Fi, but inside the bus with the air conditioning on. They all deserve the best that we can give them. With this pandemic, we are up against unprecedented needs, not just internet connections, tutoring, internet access, food insecurity, and even just basic stability. I recently had a parent come to me because her autistic child was struggling to do his online learning because he wasn't sitting at his desk. Sitting at a desk, something that nobody really thinks about, something I would never have thought of. So Proyecto Heber joined forces with our local schools to provide desks to the kids that needed them the most. We gave some out, but more importantly, it gave us the opportunity to see the need. Schools are now checking out desks like you would check out a Chromebook or a book. Anything to give these students at least a perceived stability, anything to help our students achieve success. Above all, we must, in this pandemic, have to start thinking outside this little box.
Thank you. The next question will be for Katie and Sylvia. You're running for city. As an owner of 2 small businesses, and speaking for many local ones, we're struggling with major loss of revenue, but still having to pay utilities, insurance, workman's comp, etc. Having to lay off long-time trusted employees that we may not be able to rehire back. How can a local city government help a struggling business to stay open during this pandemic? Katie?
Right now, our local governments are on the front lines of our nation's response to the combined public health and economic crisis that is created by COVID-19. Local leaders are being forced to adapt to the new realities in the environment where the individuals, families, businesses, and everybody in their communities are under extreme stress. One of the best ways for a city to go about helping a struggling business is the simple things by going in and asking them exactly what they need. Every business is different. The business that I'm a partner in, our biggest thing was our utility costs and our being able to keep our employees employed. While the salon that's just right next to us, they had to be closed down completely. Their revenues at that time was zero. And so for them, now that they can open, they've moved out of their facility because they don't have any revenues to pay the rent. So one way to go in to help them to keep going and make a living is to help them get the permitting process to actually move their salon into their house. You've seen a lot of people who now can't afford to rent out buildings, so they're actually having to bring their businesses home. Just as people are working from home, now have these business owners who are doing their trades from home as well. Another way that they can do this is just by digitizing some of the forms that are online. The simple things of sending out like QR codes for how to get your guidelines for your specific things. Sending out social media outlets of who's open. I know one of the things that our city chamber actually did really well was they always sent out a list of, hey, these are your businesses who are open. They promoted your restaurants that were open, what services they provided, and what their hours were. Our city has also given out grant monies to local businesses, and so to see exactly how they need. And that is actually really helps when it's really hard when you have employees who aren't working and you still have, revenue costs to come in. And so those grant monies actually saved a lot of businesses. It's extremely hard, even as a community member, just to see these businesses close because that so many people have put their blood, sweat, and tears and taken time away from their family into these businesses, and then just to see them have to close. And so even as a city council, as a city government can come in, they can actually ask them, even if they did close, hey, do you want to reopen? And what's the best way we can go about doing this? So all businesses bring tax revenues into the city, and so our businesses support the city. And so during COVID-19, it's actually a really important time for our city to come back in and support our businesses because they do go hand in hand. And another way is to give the small businesses a voice. I talked to a bunch of business owners in Imperial, and one of the things that they felt that they were being ignored. They felt that there's all these restrictions and they didn't know the proper channels to talk to. They didn't know how to get their message heard. You have to go into the communities. You can't the only access to a council member cannot be just sitting at a city council meeting. You have to make yourself available for all your residents and your community members, but especially for your businesses right now in such a time of crisis.
So I'll ask you the same question. As the owner of 2 small businesses and speaking for many local ones, we are struggling with major losses of revenue. But still having to pay rent, utilities, insurance, workman's comp, and then we had to lay off long-time and trusted employees that we may not be able to rehire even after we reopen. How can a city local government help a business struggling to stay open during this pandemic?
Well, as I had stated before, I have a background with assisting small business owners, so I empathize with them because I put myself in their shoes. And even though the business that I operate is not mine, it's still a concern to me as well. So the City of El Centro was recently awarded a grant of over $500,000. They intend to use these funds to make small business loans to the business community. Now, just in reviewing the application process, I can see that it's pretty lengthy and it looks complicated. And, a business owner does not have the time, to sit down and complete such a lengthy application process. Aside from that, they also require a business plan and financial statements. many businesses can just, they've been closed for such a long time. I mean, prior to this, they probably couldn't even afford to have an accountant that would, stay on top of the accounting and the bookkeeping for the business, much less, produce financial statements right away. And this is a requirement of these loan programs. I was, hoping that a portion of these funds would be forgivable, but unfortunately it's not. It's just like having a little bit of background in what it takes to, write a proposal for a grant and then meeting all of the requirements. The city is not able to forgive any portion of this, even though they have another program that would provide for that. So it's really important as a council member to perform outreach, to the business community and promote these programs, because otherwise business owners won't know. And, one other thing is connecting them to local resource partners, such as the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center and the Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation, to assist these business owners in developing all of the documentation that they need in order to apply for these loans. And so for those businesses that, like Katie said, that are not able to relocate and operate from their homes, because I know that there's a way to, to do that. And I know that you can also apply for licenses to operate a business from your home. There are certain restrictions, but it's possible. So for those that still have a brick and mortar location, I know that it's going to, take a lot. And this is where, it's really important that we walk the streets, meet with the business owners, and promote these programs to them and bring them in and help them, because otherwise they're not going to survive. And, I can certainly empathize with the local businesses, and, and it's not just locally, it's nationwide, because this pandemic has really affected all of us. And so that's what I would like to see happen. And, I mentioned another program that the cities are also awarded what they call the Community Development Block Grants. With that other loan program, a portion of those funds is forgivable if they're able to rehire and retain the employees that they had lost when the pandemic hit us. So that is where I'd like to see the city go, and where I'd like to help with the experience that I have with small businesses in El Centro and throughout the Imperial Valley.
Thank you, ladies. You want to run the rolling?
Okay, and the next question, although it's a question concerning school codes and policy, I believe that as leaders and as parents, you can help lead the way to make change in our local schools. And the question is pretty lengthy, but we are asking that if you can keep your answers to 2 minutes. So question 4, Education Code 51500 bans classroom instruction or other school activities that promote discrimination based on sexual orientation. And Senate Bill 48 prescribes the inclusion of LGBT history to be taught in school. How will you help to ensure that our local public schools adhere to these existing LGBT inclusions? And I'm going to start with Lucy Henry.
Well, Senate Bill 48 was signed into law, I think, in 2011 and became effective 1 year thereafter. And I believe that schools are complying with the law to the best of their abilities. One of the ways that the public can ensure that schools follow not only the LGBT inclusion guidelines, but the inclusion of other various groups as well. Men, women, numerous ethnic groups, African American heritage, and persons with disabilities, is to make sure that they have updated board policies on bullying, sexual harassment, classroom instruction, and curriculum. and also updated school safety plans, and that these plans are readily available to students and parents. It is also important that all staff receive regular training and support services to address harassment issues that may come their way. I think that we all play a part in these efforts, and I have seen the changes, the positive changes in the schools and in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. The question goes to Ms. Diana Garcia-Reese, who's running for the Central Union High School Board, and that would be Education Code, Section 51500, bans classroom instruction or other school activities that promote discrimination based on sexual orientation, and Senate Bill 48 prescribes the inclusion of LGBT history to be taught in school. How will you help ensure that our local public schools adhere to these existing LGBT inclusions?
Thank you. I believe that all classroom instruction should never be discriminatory to any section of any population. Senate Bill 48 has been around since 2012, but until recently, more emphasis has been put into it. Last year alone, I personally attended a class on achieving inclusive instruction based on Senate Bill 48. I even brought along our then brand new superintendent, Dr. Ward Andrews. Senate Bill 48 also includes the instruction of historical importance of females, persons with disabilities, and members of other cultural groups, including propaganda contrary to law. Again, we must all be all-inclusive. I will be vigilant of adopting instructional materials that is reflective of Senate Bill 48.
Burnsworth, same question. I'll just go to the question. How will you help ensure that our local public schools adhere to these existing LGBT inclusions?
If elected for city council, I think the biggest way that I can do, since that's definitely more of a school district and school administration question, I think the best thing that I can do as a council member is constantly collaborate and talk with our school board, because the school board and city council kind of go hand in hand. If one's doing well, then the other will do well, and vice versa. So I think we just need to collaborate on a lot of issues. However, I'm the first one to say that I'm not the expert on the education. And I, as a member of the public and a member of the community, I will ensure the best that I can by electing the strong school board members, by having the best leaders in place that I know will effectively teach the correct curriculum and not discriminate against anybody. I think we live in a world where you shouldn't bully and you shouldn't discriminate, and everybody should be treated with respect, no matter what their orientation, race, or anything. And so, but yeah, as I mentioned before, I definitely think that is more of a school board question. And so as a council member, I think and a parent, the best I can do is coordinate with our school board.
Thank you. And lastly, Ms. Sylvia Marroquin, same question. How will you help ensure that our local public schools adhere to these existing LGBT inclusions?
Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry, I'm just technologically challenged. So, as I'm sitting here, my response to this question was very brief. Okay, so, but I'd like to add, that, I am a candidate for a city council seat, and I concur with Katie, that this is more of a school board, question. But, the importance of electing, school board officials, that would make the right choices for our students. I am not a parent myself. So, but I can certainly empathize, and I can put myself in a parent's shoes, to be able to be empathetic towards them, and to, to say that, my background as a committed and practicing Catholic, we value the fact that, we tolerate things, we are diverse. We believe in equality and non-discrimination, so, that plays a big role in, how I would make those decisions. So again, collaborating with the school board partners in the cities would also be an important role of making sure that no child is left behind, no child is bullied, and no child is discriminated against. So that's my response to your question. Thank you.
And with that, I would just like activity training. And I have to say that in the almost 6 years that we've been in existence, hardly no schools have contacted us to provide it either to the counselors, the teachers, or some of the students. So I want to make that available and make that invitation that if you call us, we would be more than glad to come and provide that service.
Thank you, ladies, for answering all our questions.
And I believe that we're going to have some follow-up questions on Facebook. Are there any questions on Facebook?
We have no questions from Facebook, so we will move on to closing statements from the candidates, and I'll allow you ladies to.
Closing statements from the candidates. You have 2 minutes each, please. Katie?
Right now, more than ever, Imperial needs strong leaders. They need those special people who are ready to step up and push the boundaries of what is possible for our city to achieve. They need those that can see opportunities and not get blinded when they're stressed. They need individuals who can not only seize a moment, but also communicate a positive, uniting vision to their community. I strongly believe that I am that leader that the city of Imperial needs right now. I will work hard, I will ask the hard questions, and I will be passionate about our community. But more importantly, I will listen to our community. I will be there for our community where they can find me and be available to them whenever feasible. You won't just find me sitting up at my podium at the city council. You will see me all over Imperial County advocating for what Imperial needs. I will advocate for businesses to be successful and adapt to what our new normal will look like once we all survive and weather this storm that we've been faced with from COVID-19. In doing so, I will help establish a long-term plan that improves the quality of life for our current residents. There's a tendency for all of us to focus on getting through this right now during COVID. It's normal for all of us to want to get through these painful circumstances, but it's not enough. We need to look farther down the road. We need to find the balance between growth and stability. And right now I feel that Imperial really needs some more stability and to focus on our existing residents that live here right now and fix our infrastructure and our basic needs that we need to fix today. I will focus on ensuring that Imperial still keeps its small town roots where everybody's a family. You have those nice, you have our market days. You know, when I was a kid, it was the spring festival and Christmas in a small town. And it's cool for me as a parent to now bring those traditions back and have my kids participate in them. I will advocate for the best parks that I would want my children to play in. I will make sure that parks are just parks and not retention basins. So they're a nice park all year round and they're not flooded out for months on end after a storm, which is usually during the nice time of the year. I will look for new solutions. And if right now we have parks that have to be within housing developments, you know, and they don't have the ability to grow grass, well, let's look outside the box. Let's look for a different solution. Maybe we can put something there, you know, like a skate park. We can put an amphitheater. We got to look outside the box. We can't just keep looking in this, you know, check the little square solution that fits everything, because we're Imperial, we're different. We need to fit what best for Imperial. And I've grown up in Imperial. I'm raising my 2 kids in Imperial, and my family lives in Imperial. And when I say my family, I don't just mean my blood family. I mean the community residents. I've fallen on my face and had been through so many adverse times, and Imperial has always been there to pick me back up. And this is my way to give back to all those people who've been there to pick me up every time I've needed to. And I'm asking for your vote on any time between when you get your ballot in the mail and November 3rd. And I look forward and would be honored to be your city council member if elected.
Thank you. Ms. Lucy Henry, you have minutes to provide your closing statement.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank What's Up With You Productions for the opportunity to participate in this forum. And I also want to wish all these very accomplished ladies the best of luck with their respective campaigns. I'm asking for your vote on November the 3rd as a candidate for the Imperial County Office Board of Education. I commit myself and will dedicate my time and focus as I represent the interest of Area 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Closing statement, please, from Deanna.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank What's Up With You Productions for this wonderful opportunity. I think that as a woman being on a board for over 20 years, it's 24 years now. Sorry. You know, it's tough. You have to put aside, well, no, you are put aside. I'll tell you that much right now. You know, I still have to have my home life complete. There has to be dinner on the table. My children have to be good representatives, which would be a requirement in my home anyway. But it is very difficult. I'm not asking you to vote for me because I'm female. I'm asking you to vote for me because I think I have done a good job. I think I have advocated not just for my children, not just for my community, but for everybody out there. And I will continue to do that. It's very tough, like I said, being a woman and being in this position, but I think I've done a good job and I would like to keep doing it for 4 more years. Vote for Diana Garcia Ruiz to advocate for your children. Thank you.
Sylvia Martin, you have 2 minutes to provide your closing statement.
Well, as I mentioned before, my home is El Centro. My heart is there, my family is there, and all my friends are there, the people that I went to school with, that I grew up with. And I have really given my all to my community. And, you know, I have to say that I'm ready to step up to the plate to represent my community on the city council. You know, I know that there are many people that need a voice, and, you know, I am willing to be that voice. I will advocate for what I believe would be reasons for the betterment of our city, and I will vote consciously, you know, to ensure that everyone is represented equally. And, you know, there is, you know, so much at stake here, especially because of the fact that, you know, we're trying to now, you know, recover from, you know, the effects of this pandemic that we are currently facing. And I know that sitting on the city council will not be easy. You know, we will be faced with many challenges, with many citizens' concerns. And it's really important that, you know, that as a prospective candidate and hopefully maybe a council person, that I will be able to listen to our constituents' concerns, and that I will be able to effectively do something to produce results based on their concerns. And so if you are looking for a candidate who is honest, who has integrity, and is transparent in everything that I do, then I am your candidate for a seat on the El Centro City Council, and I ask for your vote on November the 3rd. Thank you very much for your consideration, and thank you for What's Up With You Productions for hosting this event this evening. I really appreciate the opportunity that you have given me and all the ladies here to, you know, to voice, you know, why we're running for public office, because believe me, it is
Once again, I want to say thank you to all of you. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this event. I want to thank Wasupwu Productions for putting this together. Ladies, thank you very much for running, for leadership. And like you said, Ms. Sylvia, it's not easy. Sometimes when you put yourself out there, you are open to criticism. And as a leader of the LGBTQ community, I know when that criticism comes and the attacks, but I invite you as leaders, whether you win or not, I wish you the best, but even if you don't win, I invite you to sit with me, I invite you to coffee, you pay, and we can have a conversation about issues that have been difficult for some of us to talk about. And the only way that we're going to understand each other is by having those conversations. So again, thank you. It's been an honor.
Also, thank you, Juan, Nena, Maribel, Gil. If you like him, I'm his mom. If you don't, I'm not related. Thank you for giving the platform to these amazing women. I know it takes a lot to do it. Thank you, ladies, for keeping it classy, keeping it clean. Unlike the men, but oh well. Just thank you for everything, and it takes a lot to do it. I thought about doing it, and after seeing stuff that goes on, I don't know if I want to. But thank you for inspiring our daughters for doing this. This is amazing. Thank you.
And all right, that was great. Thank you once again. Thank you to Wasupwu, Juan Molina, Wasupwu Productions. Give one more round of applause for Wasupwu. Also to Barberwood Country Club for allowing us to be here. Could get off of Barberwood Country Club. I know I learned a lot tonight. For example, Deanna, as a parent, when you first ran and you've kept up that inspirational drive to make sure all our children have an equitable and proper education. As a parent and as a school board trustee, I completely relate to just wanting to get in there and make a difference. So I commend you and best of luck. Sylvia, I seem quiet and then all of a sudden you start talking and it's boom, it's heavy stuff. I mean, from in the banking to the private sector to as a small business owner, like you said, you walk the walk and talk the talk. You know what it's like at every level, and that experience and knowledge and wisdom you will carry and benefit the El Centro City Council if elected. So best of luck to you. Katie Burnworth, I know Katie. Katie and I go way back. Now, obviously fresh new ideas and your experience in the private sector and the public and the government agencies locally and statewide. You know, this COVID pandemic has really caused many divisions, not just individually, but between organizations, bureaucracies and whatnot. And I think you'll be able to help mend those relationships from your experience in working both the private and public sector. So best of, and as a woman in science, that's a whole other conversation we can have. That's also to be commended. And Lucy Hendry, I didn't even know anything about you, and now I do. And as I can tell you this, the one person knows the most about schools and boards and districts and how they run are the executive assistants. You probably know more than most people ever know, good and bad. Right. And so, you know, just knowing that, right, as soon as you said that, I thought, wow, she knows what she's talking about, and you will benefit ICOE board if elected. And I wish you best of luck, because that knowledge you shared tonight is going to be beneficial for ultimately our students. So best of luck. So thank you all. I learned, I always come here to learn, and I definitely learned tonight. So thank you. I'm going to send over to Maribel Puentes to send us off. Oh, don't unmute her.
Well, it's been a pleasure being the host of this great event, Facebook Live. And I want to thank all the candidates and all the moderators, and also Wasupwu Molina's Productions. Don't forget to vote November 3rd. And Mujeres Haciendo un Cambio en nuestras comunidades. Gracias.